Hello everyone! In today's discussion, we are going to talk about the lessons under biodiversity and evolution. I will explain to you the definition of artificial selection and its uses and examples. We'll define genetic engineering or synthetic biology for us to be able to understand this fully. And I will also explain to you why some species are extinct. The objectives of our discussion are as follows. First, explain the importance of biodiversity. Second, discuss the roles the species play in ecosystems. Third, explain how the Earth's life changes over time. And lastly, discuss the factors affecting biodiversity. And now, let us start our discussion. Grab your pen, your notebook, lend your ears for a few minutes and let us learn all together. What is artificial selection? I know you are all familiar with it, and maybe you already composed a definition inside your head. Or maybe you know this in your science classes in school. Whichever it is, I congratulate you for tracking down its definition with just a few seconds. Artificial selection is the identification by humans of desirable traits in plants and animals, and the steps taken to enhance and perpetuate those traits in future generations. In laying evidence, Charles Darwin, who constituted theories of evolution, found out artificial selection and is greatly challenged with the evolving process at this time. The greatest and the most common example we have ever seen for artificial selection is its use in agriculture. This selection has been widely used for so many years until today, and I'm really sure that all of us are familiar with artificial selection in the process of agriculture. It has been used in agriculture to produce animals and crops with desirable traits. The meat we eat and sold today in the markets are the great result of the selective breeding of chickens, cattle, sheep, and pigs. Moreover, many fruits and vegetables have been improved or even created through artificial selection. Artificial selection has been long used to humans since this is faster and allows humans to mold organisms to their needs. Let us also take a look into another great example of artificial selection that is also very common in our society today and is mostly heard, the dog breeding. Even though all dogs are descendants of the wolf, the use of artificial selection has allowed humans to drastically alter the appearance of dogs. For many decades, dogs have been bred for various desired characteristics, leading to the creation of a wide range of dogs. Charles Darwin, a British naturalist and biologist, postulated both the natural selection and the artificial selection. He first laid powerful evidence about natural selection. Then after a series of evolution, he found out about the artificial selection. What is the difference between natural selection and artificial selection? These two selections work just in the same way. However, natural selection practically comes from nature. On the other hand, artificial selection comes with human interference that makes these decisions. Breeding pigeons was first in the discovery of Charles Darwin with artificial selection. By selecting which pigeons are allowed to mate, people had a profound effect on their appearances, for example, with the shape and size of their beaks and the color of their feathers. And now, let us tackle genetic engineering or synthetic biology. This involves redesigning organisms into useful purposes. It enables life technologies to design, synthesize, test, and deploy antigens and variants with rapid results, high expression, and capacity. Researchers and scientists around the globe are molding the power of nature to solve problems in medicine, agriculture, and manufacturing. The first scientist, who is a German chemist, to have successfully conducted synthetic biology research, he synthesized an organic substance from inorganic matter. From that matter, until today, scientists routinely created organic matter through various conventional chemical processes. And the two major applications of synthetic biology that are much more pursued today in our time are biofuels and pharmaceuticals. Genetic engineering has applications in medicine, research, industry, and agriculture, and can be used on a wide range of plants, animals, and microorganisms. In medicine, genetic engineering has been used to mass produce insulin, human growth hormones, folestim for treating infertility, human albumin, monoclonal antibodies, anti-hemophilic factors, vaccines, and many other drugs. And now, let us move on to the last topic, which is the species extinction. Did you wonder why some of the species are getting extinct? Or what are the reasons why it will come in that way to extinction? Is it because the natural habitat of the species are being endangered and destroyed for modern buildings? Or did the species also have their time limits like human beings? Before we answer those unending questions, let us first discuss what is an extinction. Extinction is the termination of a kind of organism or of a group of kinds, usually a species. Long before we are born, different species already exist, living in their own habitats, which we also call a home. And so, what causes them to be extinct? There are 5 modern causes of extinction. These are as follows. First, loss and degradation of habitat, mainly deforestation. Second, overexploitation, hunting or overfishing. Third, invasive species. Fourth, climate change. And lastly, the nitrogen pollution. For so many years, species suffered and died because of these causes. The first cause, which is the loss and degradation of habitat, is mainly the overlooking main cause that humans can always point out. When the habitats of species are being degraded, for the reason of human interference for money and businesses, species are in the red alert, which is the risk zone. They will slowly lose their habitats. And what will these species do? They lost their shelter and most importantly, their food. And so, for them to be able to survive, they will find a new home, just like how the human being does when he or she feels neglected and destroyed. And what if they can't survive in their temporary habitat? Species will become extinct. Some will die, and some are trying to survive. However, the species habitats are being developed for so many reasons. For housing like apartments and condos, tall buildings that will inherit money. In short, some of these interferences are for humans to get profit, and species live in the endangered zone for extinction. Another main cause of extinction is the overexploitation. Hunting animals and species is a normal occurrence for human beings like us. We consume meat and that's pretty normal. But too much is dangerous. When humans hunt excessively, they are already exploiting these species. Too much exploitation can cause a decade of extinction. The third cause is the invasive species. The extinction of species will allow them to eat and attack other species that are weaker than them. And that's because they are losing their habitat and they don't have enough food to survive. And in order to survive, these invasive species will make the other species be their food in order to satisfy their hunger. The fourth cause is climate change. Our environment today is different from the environment in the past. Ecosystems are getting destroyed and destroyed. Pollution is everywhere, which comes from human doings. That's some of the reasons we experience climate change. And some species are not used to having weather that is too hot and too cold. It becomes unpredictable, and those species suffer because of climate change. Nitrogen pollution is one of the causes of extinction. Too much nitrogen can cause some species to die and suffer. There are also four types of extinction: vulnerable, endangered, critically endangered, and extinct in the wild. The ecosystems are greatly impacted as the species goes to extinction. As human beings, we are supposed to care for the environment and not to destroy it. We must help those species that survive through prevention of destroying the ecosystem and biodiversity. With the great evolution that we experience, let us at least try our best to save the earth. Hope you all understand the discussion and remember those important factors that affects biodiversity. Thank you for watching.